wonderful to be back in person in California. And I can't think of something more important than to be here in support of your great governor, Gavin Newsom. Yeah. To have a simple message. Sometimes in politics, things are hard. You can't fit things on bumper stickers or on signs. This time we can. Vote no. September 14th. You have 9 days left to vote no. 9 days? No. Alliteration. 9 days? No. That's what you have left. And let me tell you, and I'm going to get right to the chase here, why you must vote no. First of all, the country has been watching in horror as people are fleeing their homes and their businesses in California because of these fires. They are seeing it on national TV. We had a very out of control fire in northern Minnesota, believe it or not, that is, I'm going to actually go see tomorrow. That has been somewhat contained, but you have them all over your state. And one of the Republican candidates here, what does he call climate change? He calls it a crock. Okay, in Minnesota we have crock pots, but we would never say climate change is a crock. That's what he says, and that's why you must vote no. Okay, then you've got a governor that has gotten the vaccines out to the people of your state, who is moving forward for the state of California, and you cannot move backward. Yes, we are still struggling in this pandemic, but we are turning a corner. And the last thing we want is to put people in place to run this great state, the biggest state in the nation, who don't believe in science, who don't believe in what the doctors tell us. Then finally, and this is what Melissa was referring to, there's the issue of what just happened in Texas. So let's talk about what just happened in Texas, what the Supreme Court just did. So this is a bill, this is a law that basically turns the people in the state of Texas into bounty hunters. The law says, well, you'll get $10,000 if you report a woman for exercising her constitutional rights. That's what it says. You maybe overhear a conversation. Hey, call someone, you'll get $10,000. You maybe know a neighbor and see them get into a car. You basically could make a report and get $10,000. It basically says that 85% of women in this country seeking abortion services cannot exercise their constitutional rights. That's what the law says. So what happens? Well, there's an emergency relief petition in front of the United States Supreme Court, and what do? With less than 72 hours at midnight on something that is called the shadow docket, they decide in a 5-4 decision that they're not going to stay that law. They're going to allow that law that is so patently against Roe v. Wade, they're going to let it take effect. They didn't do that in 2015, they stayed a bad law. They stayed a law in 2019, but this time, with the addition of Amy Coney Barrett, they decided to allow this thing to go into effect. So what does that mean? Well, that means that other states are going to try to do this all across the country. They already are talking about it in other states. So this isn't just going to be about Texas. We also know a Mississippi case is coming up in the fall, where we've seen a challenge and a little later date, but still something that I believe is against Roe v. Wade, that this court is already considering. In the words of Justice Roberts, not exactly a flaming liberal, a very conservative justice who in this case did the right thing and sided with the liberal justice, he said this is highly unusual, that this is unprecedented, that you do not shirk your duties. He basically described this law as the state of Texas had given the power of enforcement of a law over to the general population. That's what we are dealing with here. So if you want to have a reason as big as any you can think of to vote no, is you need a governor like Gavin Newsom to stand up for a woman's right to choose. And you have that right here in California, and you've had it for a long time. So sometimes you get used to things. Yeah. Well, as what we have just seen with the Supreme Court that we didn't think would do something like this, you have no idea when it's going to happen. So that's why people have to go vote. And this is a governor that is forward thinking, right? That has thought about investing in kids and what we have to do moving forward as a country. But this, what you are seeing with this recall effort, and I couldn't, how much money was it, Melissa?
276 million.
200, think of what that money could be used for. Think of what that money could be used for to get more firefighters. Think of what that money could be used for helping people with their health care, for getting child care for people, for getting housing for people. And they have decided in this futile effort to go after the governor. And so that is why I know, and I'm pretty good at predicting things. I know the people of California are going to turn out big time, are going to cast their mail-in ballots, right, which they got in the mail, are going to show up at the polls and find any way to vote no. So I